Let's see. So now we go with Big Fat Seal. There we go. This is Elena Roig, I think. Says, hello, if I'm a junior to the arts and I'd love to get some feedback on the portfolio piece I created a while back, an environment scene. What are some areas I could improve on this piece in particular? Of course, let's take a look. Let's take a look. So this is by Elena Roig. Nice, 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 nice. Okay. So it reminds me a little bit like a Moana, right? This sort of like a Pacific Islander situation. Okay. Okay, so, I mean, this is the very obvious thing that I can tell to you, Elena. Again, when we see the concept piece and then when we see the actual piece, there's a lot of things that are going to be easy to pinpoint. And let me show you here. 1 second. 1 second here. Here. So, this is... I know it's going to sound very stupid what I'm about to say, but at the same time, it's one of those things that a lot of people, for some reason, miss, right? I am the client. I show you a concept, and I tell you, this is what I want, okay? And then you are the provider of the service. You are the provider of the asset, and you deliver this thing right here. If I'm the client and I receive this thing right here, and this was the concept, will I be happy or will I be sad, right? Like, that's the sort of like thing that you need to ask yourself. In this particular case, I can tell that you capture the spirit of the thing, but we're missing a lot of elements. First of all, the scale of the element is not properly captured, right? Like, if we take a look at the size of the whole thing, let me use a different color. Like, if we take a look at the size of the whole thing and we take a look at this one right here, the specific proportions of the different floors are not as exact as what we have on the concept piece. So for instance, all of this section right here, this upper section, is a lot longer on your section, right, compared to what we have right here. And then this section right here, the lower section, let's call it, it's a lot shorter on your piece. So starting from proportions, the proportions are not really there. They're not really where they're supposed to be, okay? And then if we start focusing on some of the details, there's a lot of things missing. Like, look at how far this thing pushes out, same as this one, and all of these things right here. There's a lot of like little things and little details that you are missing. I'm not sure why you simplified a lot of these things, right? Because you might have had a little time, or maybe the teacher that you were working on told you to make it a little bit more simplified. But the point is that we are not really matching the concept as precisely as we could. I know you capture the general like spirit of the concept, but there's a lot of things that if I was the client, I would probably not be as happy, right? Another thing is in terms of color values, you can see that you went way more saturated on your stuff compared to what we have right here. So be mindful about that. Because, yeah, it's just proportions in general, my friend, that you were not able to match perfectly. Is this a bad piece? No, it's a fun piece. It looks fine, and again, given the fact that you use a lot of like interesting techniques such as kit bashing and things like that, it's a good piece. Like, I would not just take it out of your portfolio. I don't think it deserves to be taken out because it's a full environment, and that's always valuable. But just keep this in mind, especially because we do have the reference piece right here, that the level of detail and the level of execution that we're expecting needs to match this a lot closer. I do have a video, 3D camera match Ape Leal. This one, Blender camera match for difficult concepts. So check that video out if you can. It's an old video, but it shows a very cool little plugin that you can use for Blender, and then you can export that for Maya if you're using it in Maya or Max, because you can export the FBX camera, and that will allow you to match the blocking a lot closer, because it's not again, it's not exactly like what we have right here. Akko is making a great question here. He says, if the goal was to simplify this, should I specify it in the comments? Yes, but my best advice is, if you're going to be doing a simplified version, it's better to just look for a simplified concept. Like, there's no reason why we should take this one right here and then, like, make our own decisions, unless, like, I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird. Imagine, Akko, that I give you a storyboard and you're the director of a movie, and I tell you how many like shots we need to record or do, and at the end of the day, you're like, hey, I decided to take out some of the storyboard pieces and I'm skipping the scenes. Like, no, if I'm hiring you to do this specific movie, I need you to do this specific thing, right? So So yeah, I don't know. It's complicated. It's complicated. I'm not saying you can't do it. Like I don't see. I'm not saying that you can't take some artistic liberties. Like what I mentioned. I'm not sure if it was Juan or one of the other ones. It's okay to modify certain things, but when things start getting like really really far away from the original concept, that's when you can get into some issues. Again, especially as a recruiter, you guys need to put yourselves in the shoes of a recruiter, right? If I am recruiting someone and I'm looking for an environment artist and I look at the concept piece and then I look at the result, do I feel confident that the artist is going to be able to match the concept pieces that I'm going to be giving him or her on the studio? Because if I don't see that matching thing, if I see that they're taking a lot of artistic liberties and I'm not confident that they're going to be able to match it, as a recruiter, as a client, I might not feel as confident to hire that person, right? Because they haven't really shown that they can match things really, really close. If you have other pieces where you match things really, really closely, and then you make one portfolio piece where you take more artistic liberties, then fine, right? Like there's a little bit of wiggling room. But usually, when you buy something, when you hire someone, and you have a specific idea in your mind, you want that idea to be as close as possible, right? Not to deviate from whatever it is you're requesting. So keep that in mind, guys. I know we're very, again, picky or we get mad at recruiters and people like bashing our artwork, but sometimes we as artists, we don't really see ourselves in the mirror and realize that we're making some mistakes that that are not good for from a client's perspective, okay? Let's see. Glitz says, "Hi, Ave. Curious to know what your thoughts are on the rapid improvements on AI models. For example, Google released a new model called VO3 that can generate video with audio very realistically." Yeah, I don't want to deviate the conversation today, Glitz. We've talked about AI before. It's not going away. My key point is it's not going away. We do need to sort of like use it or utilize it in some parts of the pipeline, but the artist should always be the one that makes the creative decisions. Let's see how it goes. Again, I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen in the future. I can't see into the future, but it's definitely not scary. I wouldn't say that the AI improvements are scary. I would just say that they're definitely gonna change the sort of like status quo of the whole thing, right? Like it's gonna be a lot of changes. One thing that I can tell you, and I was talking about this with David, is that there's gonna be a lot of like shit out there. Like everyone's going to be able to create and generate stuff, and 99% of that stuff is going to look horrible and it's going to be like just like very, very bad. But there's going to be a couple of them that are going to be really, really good, and it might even be very difficult to pinpoint when something is made with AI. So it's just the new reality that we need to live in. Okay, it's the new revolution that we need to live in.